I would like to get to know if I could.
Hey girl, hey, my name is Misha Cherie. If you're new here and if you're not, thank you so much for tuning back in. I created this entire makeup look using just a sheer skin tint by Summer Friday. I'm the shade 6, so I really want to be able to give my opinion from a black woman's perspective. If you're someone who has a deeper skin tone, looking for the perfect skin tint for days where you don't necessarily want to wear a full face of makeup or full coverage makeup, then keep watching. Okay, so let's get started. As you can tell from the title of today's video, we are going to be talking about the Summer Fridays Skin Tint right here. This is what it looks like. I have it in the shade 6. That's what shade I am. They actually added some additional tones. So if you checked for your shade when it first came out, but you didn't see it, I would definitely advise checking again. It is a shake well, meaning that you must shake it so that obviously everything can work together, blend together well, so you don't get any separation when you pour it out. So if you're curious about what this foundation is, before we even get into applying it, and if you've never used a sheer skin tint before, let me kind of break down what a sheer tint is. So usually when you get a foundation, it is typically anywhere from sheer, medium to full coverage. Sheer meaning you'll see more of your skin, less of the product. Medium meaning you'll see about 50-50. And full coverage meaning that you'll see more foundation and less of your actual skin. So with the Summer Fridays Skin Tint, it got really popular. It came out in 2020. So let's talk a little bit about how the pandemic had an impact on the products that we use. We noticed that we were more comfortable and quite preferred wearing our natural skin tone versus like a full coverage. We were kind of coming out of that trend. So based on that, you're seeing more sheer coverage, so more tints, things that are a little bit more buildable so you don't have to start so medium and or full coverage. We also saw more skincare infused products. So I say that to say that this product right here, the Summer Friday Skin Tint, has not only hyaluronic acid, which I'm sure you're probably like, what is that? Really hydrating ingredient. And it also has squalane. There's a difference between squalane and squalene. We won't get into that, but maybe I'll leave it in the description so you guys can know the difference. But another really great skin caring active. So the product glides on beautifully. Like I said, I have a shade 6, which on the website they describe as medium tan with warm golden undertones. It has a natural finish and coming in at $42 a bottle. So because you won't be using a lot of it, I actually don't think 42 is crazy. I've seen more. Enough talk about the product. We're gonna go ahead and get into the application. Just so you guys can kind of like see what it looks like before I put it on, I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit on my hand right here. And you can see how you can tell it's pretty sheer because it's like viscous, like it's like rolling around. And when you blend it in, this is kind of what you get. So see how that little bit went a really long way? Obviously my hand is a little bit darker than my face, but yeah, so this is kind of the shade, just so you can kind of get an idea. And with tints, you have a little bit more forgiveness. Like you don't need to shade match exactly to your skin color because it's so sheer that you're gonna see more of your own personal skin tone anyways. So I could have went probably to a 7 and been fine. I'm just more comfortable with the 6 because we're approaching winter and this is still very much my summer color. So that's why I got a 6. But if you're my skin tone, at least you can see kind of like what the shade will look like. Okay, so I already have skincare on. I'm just going to go ahead with my e.l.f. primer. Go ahead and put that on. My mirror's over here, so you'll see me kind of like looking over here. So let's talk about like when it would make sense to use a tint versus like a traditional foundation, or the way things are going these days, no foundation. So for me, a tint is perfect when it's like I want to do something but I'm not trying to do everything. Does that make sense? Like I definitely want to look like I have something on, but I'm not trying to look like I tried too hard. Wait a minute, let me get hair out of my face. But I'm not trying to look like I did too much. And so when I say that, it's probably like, what if you have a heavy errand day? You're like, okay, a girl's got to go to Target. I've got to go to Sephora. I also need to go to Crate and Barrel. Like, if you have to go to other places, I think it's great to have a tint on. You get some coverage, but again, you don't have to look full glam. So now that my primer is on, I'm going to go ahead and just put the product on. You can use whatever you like to use to put this product on. Personally, I like to kind of like blend in with a sponge, you know. And then, I'm sorry, personally, I like to actually use a dense kabuki brush. So I'm going to be using this brush 830. It's from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Just to kind of like get it evenly distributed. So you can see how easily it glides on the skin. It's really just like a nice top layer. And you can always build the product up. I don't know if you'll ever get to like full coverage, but you can definitely build up more coverage. And then you can be generous with it too. Again, it has skin caring actives in it. So I'm just using my brush to kind of like evenly distribute it all over my face. Circular motions, stippling motions anywhere where I feel like I need to like really set. I always use stippling motions around my baby hairs because I don't know what your process looks like, but I like to do makeup first, or makeup and then hair. But sometimes, like, obviously for these videos, I have to come on with my hair already done. So if I get to rolling around my baby hairs, the hairs are gonna move. So as you can see, I have a nice thin layer on. This is perfect for me. And if I wanted to, like, let's say I was just like, oh girl, let me throw something on, we could really call this a day if I wanted to. Now I'm going to take my sponge and really press it into the skin because this is not the only layer that I'll be applying today. Being really gentle, but it's really not picking up too much because I pretty much already laid it down. Now, again, you could stop here. And if you wanted to, this is what the foundation looks like. So I'll give you a chance to take a look at it. I'll give you a chance to take a look at it. Like I said, very sheer tint. If we zoom in a little bit, let's see. You can see, like, I have freckles underneath my eye. You can still see them. They're not washed out. They're still there. So if you are a freckle person, you'll still be able to see your freckles. I personally like a little bit more coverage, so we're going to keep going. So after I apply the Summer Fridays, obviously I did my primer first, and we did the Summer Fridays. We're also going to go in with a concealer. I've been using the Makeup by Mario concealer. I love it. It has caffeine in it. Really perks up that under eye area. I just personally like that highlighted look of like having your concealer underneath, personally. So I'm going to go ahead and do that just to kind of give certain areas a little bit more highlight. Okay. I'm going to take my sponge. We're going to go ahead and just blend that in. Again, the concealer is exactly my color. It's just giving me a little bit more coverage. Because sheer or not, like, I need just that under eye coverage. Because there are days where, like, she's a little bit more, you know, a little bit more discolored under the eye. Not right now, but sometimes. And so it's just nice to have a little bit more coverage. Plus the Makeup by Mario concealer, like I said, it has caffeine in it, which will add a little bit more plumpness to that under eye area. So, like, more skincare actives, why not? Like, let's just do it. Okay. Here's that. I'm just going to take a pause and just, like, make sure that it really dries down. Okay, that feels dry. Cool. Alright, so we dried that down. Don't want to be a natural girl today? No. I hate that about me. I hate that about me. Okay, just a little bit more concealer, y'all. Nothing crazy. Just like a little dab of Duya of a concealer that's maybe a little bit lighter than your under eye. I mean, it's really just for like that like ombre-esque type of look. I just can't get away from that. Is it because I'm a millennial? Is that why? If it is, I don't care. I like to be like a little bit more snatched. So, but by only putting a little bit, it's really accentuating like where I want the highlight attention to be. And I kind of want it blended in like the center of, like if there was like a diagram, if it was like, okay, this is your color highlight, I want the lighter one like this, so that it kind of like blends in together, if that makes sense. That was the weirdest hand demonstration I've ever done to explain that, but I don't know, some part of me feel like it worked, like you really got what I was saying. So we're just blending to oblivion, sister. Getting underneath that eye too. Cool. This process, honestly, overall, should be so easy. It should not take you like any time whatsoever. Again, let me just accentuate the dry down. I just want to make sure it's all the way dried down. If y'all don't have a fan, I would highly recommend, especially when you're in a crunch or in a pinch, you need to be dry like that. These come in handy. Cool. She's cute. We're gonna set a little bit. Now, when I say set, I really just mean like we're just gonna put some powder on, because I'm not leaving it on there to like set and bake, because it's not 2016, sister. So I'm just gonna put a little bit on. Got my handy dandy little triangle. So I'm trash. I don't even know. Have I been telling y'all what I'm using? In the Makeup by Mario concealer, I am shade 540. So if you're the same color as me, Makeup by Mario 540. And then the NARS, I use shade Caramel, which is like a little bit lighter than my skin tone. Here are the two together, so you can just kind of see like what the contrast looks like, you know. And then I'm using the Patrick Star One Size Translucent Powder, literally just to kind of like freeze under eye. I'm not like, that's literally all I'm hoping to achieve by putting this under there. A little bit powder, a little bit of set, so that like, even though I want like a more natural look, it's gonna give me like the lift that I'm looking for under eye. I like to like use my sponge to really smooth out my under eye before putting on powder, because once you put powder on, it's like a freezing agent. Like if that under eye isn't smooth, it's not gonna get smooth, and the powder is gonna settle into the creases. So you just kind of want to make sure that everything is sitting the way you want it to sit before you set, because baby end up coming back. On the forehead a little bit. Just, I mean, essentially I'm just putting powder in the T-zones. Y'all have seen it. Y'all get it, right? And then my upper lip, because whoo child, that's always how you can tell when I'm sweating. That upper lip be glistening, honey. And I can't have that. Can't have it at all. Okay. And this is literally why I was like, we're not even gonna like, we're dusting this off immediately. Just any excess has got to go, because I do really want, even though there's not, even though it's like a tint, you know, and I added a little bit more product, I still want it to look as natural as possible, right? Cool. Ugh, my hair. Okay. We're giving natural. We're still giving like natural. I don't know if I'm trying to sell it to you or to myself, but I do think it still looks very natural. I got to bring a little bit more color into my face though. And that's when I'm going to introduce my Revlon Color Stay Skin Awaken concealer, which I've been using as a Charlotte Tilbury dupe, and I don't care what you got to say about it. Yeah, I just feel like this is so inexpensive, readily available, drugstores, Ulta, all the things, and it's a better match for my skin tone. The Charlotte Tilbury one just doesn't go as deep. So I'm a 3-dot girl. And 1 and 2 and 3. Immediately, we're gonna blend. I'm just stippling. I might do a little sweeping motion, but I really try to keep it kind of like above my jawline. Back in the day, I used to like blend it here, but I like having this like little chisel moment right there. So we're just kind of blending there. And then I always take a look from the front, make sure that the contour isn't creeping too high up. 3 more dots. So we're gonna go, oh, I'm just trying to get my hair out the way. 1, 2, 3. 3 dots. Immediately, let's blend. A lot of stippling, a lot of really pressing that product into the skin. And when I do this, I'm just kind of like defining the line that I don't want to go below. of course you want to make it look as natural as possible, so kind of like swing it into that temple. And then now any area where it's like I've gone a little crazy, I went too far, we're just taking our sponge and blending that out. The next thing I'm going to do is just, you know, create a little bit of fun with my nose and the contour. So I really just, I used to like put, it's actually ridiculous how much concealer I used to use, but now I just kind of like come here, always kind of pushing that into the brow, because that's what's going to make it look most natural. And there's enough product there for me to just literally bring it on down. Literally. And that's the thing that I love about creams and about liquids. And I feel like sometimes people feel like, oh, they're overwhelming or they're intimidating. They're so easy to blend. It's crazy. Like, you don't have to be scared of making a mistake, because that liquid, it's very forgiving. Okay. Hi. She's cute. Okay, so now that our contour is done, now we're going to get into a little bit of brow. So for my brow, I use the Refi, what is it called? Clear Brow Sculpt. So super easy. Untwist this bad boy. There's product here. So I back comb because I need all of the hairs to be coated. So I'll let you see that again. I get a lot of questions about my brows, so I was like, let's just give you like a really in-depth perspective on what goes down. So then I take this brush. Fair warning, this brush is about to look very crusty. So there's like a little brush here. Very crusty. I know, it's super crusty, but I need it to look like this. And I bend the corner on purpose because I'm going to take it and I'm going to go like this. And just make sure that they're like sticking up. The natural progression of hair growth is like up in the front and then like to the side as you rotate. So in order to keep it looking great, that's why this side looks nasty, you have to like literally press it. So I'll do it again. You literally comb the hairs up. Comb them up and away. Boom, boom. And then take your one side. If you have like a paddle, that's essentially what I'm creating with this brush 7B from Anastasia. Brows are done. And when I'm using something like a sheer tint, I don't need to look perfectly put together. That was kind of the whole thing. Like, I'm going on errands. I might go to Pilates and then go on errands, and it's just like I want a little bit of makeup on. I might be meeting somebody for a coffee date, which is different than like a dinner date. So we don't want to like go in and create a full look. As long as they're up, they're nice, they're polished, that's the vibe we're going for. You get what I'm saying? Like, is it coming together? Cool. So brows done that quick. None of that, oh, I have to go off camera to do my brows. None of that. So next I will be using the Anastasia stick blush, one of my favorites, in the shade Peach Caramel. So it has the blush itself on one end, and then on the other hand you get like a stippling brush, which you can tell has been very used. So I'm just gonna go ahead, put that on. I just kind of swipe a little bit of it and then immediately flip it. You want to just go in because you don't know how much playtime you have. It's a cream, so you're gonna get a little bit more than a liquid, but I just kind of go in, stipple all around so that it's nice and blended. Same on the other side. A couple of sweeps of it, kind of living right above where I put my contour and blending into the contour as well. So there's that. Stipple that bad boy. I like a really blended blush, so I'm gonna take up my blush brush that I would typically use with powder, but it doesn't have any powder on it. It has powder residue on it though, so just to kind of up the ante, set it a little bit so that it doesn't have that like sticky finish, I literally just bop a little bit more here. Y'all, we're essentially almost done. Like, this is, we're breezing through this, and we should be breezing through this. That's the whole point of a tint. We shouldn't be on an entire like routine. That's not what the vibe is here. I do have a little bit more powder that I like to put on. It's literally just Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Dark by MAC. I just take my same brush that I put my, that I dusted my translucent powder off with, and I grab a little bit of product and I literally just sit it underneath the eye. And what this is doing now that I've laid my blush is like hyper blending the blush and then also bringing absolute color in case there was any casting situation, which there usually isn't, but you never know, girl. Just an extra layer of set in case you want it. Absolutely not mandatory. I have like literally one last step. I'm gonna take my lip liner. I already have like really hydrated lips. Here, I'll show it to you. So my lips are already pretty hydrated. And I need them to be hydrated because that's how this pencil, my NYX lip pencil in the shade Brown, that's how this is gonna glide. If you don't have any moisture, sometimes you get that tugging, that dragging, you're not gonna blend as well. So we're gonna go ahead and go in. See how it's just like effortless? I'm pretty wide with my application because I feel like that helps with the blend. I do have a bump literally living on my lip line. It's absolutely fine. It's literally a pimple. Of course, it will come right before I'm gonna film this though. Okay, so I have a blended brown lip situation going on that I absolutely adore. Oh wait, shoot, I just realized this. If you want to, I do have this handy, which is like my little bronzer palette. It's Hit Pan, so I'm not going to show it to you. It's pretty gross. But if you want to, you can like take your bronzer, load it up on a little eye brush, and you can bounce a little bit of bronzer on your eye if you want to. I don't always feel like I have to do this. Sometimes I feel like that's when it's like, okay, girl, it's starting to get real makeup-y, like real forward on the makeup. But if you can just blend like a light amount, it does kind of just like round out the face in case you want a little bit of oomph with that look. Look how quick that was. Very, very quick, very, very easy. Okay, so back to my lip. I've lined it. And all I'm going to do is come in with my Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm in Vanilla. Very, very hydrating lip gloss. I really enjoy it. I kind of have one everywhere. I put that on literally no method to the madness, just like blast it on, and it almost makes just like a really pretty little brown gloss. Okay, so that concludes this makeup tutorial. I'm so thankful that you guys stuck around, hung around till this far in the video. So if you made it this far, congratulations. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and trying out the Summer Fridays Skin Tint. Obviously, it will be linked below. Every product that I use will be linked below. And I really enjoy this product. Again, I think that it has its place in your makeup wardrobe. I'm not saying that it's the tint that you're going to reach for every single day, but I do think it has its place in your makeup wardrobe. We all kind of need something a little bit more sheer, and there are ways, and I hope that you saw in this video that there are ways to glam it up so that it's not just so sheer, feeling bland, in case there are days where you do want a little bit more of a glam hybrid with your skin tint. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. I genuinely appreciate it. And if this video was helpful, please stop for 2 seconds, give it a thumbs up, like it, leave a comment if you have any questions. You can kind of tell, or if you're new here and maybe you don't know, if you give me a comment, like I really try hard to make sure that I answer it within 24 hours. And yeah, it's been so much fun getting back into makeup. I love playing in makeup and I love filming it. So if you have any requests, please be sure to leave them down below. And until next time, guys, bye.